kids. So there's.
But didn't I just say that men are providers, so they should be doing these jobs? Like, it shouldn't, like, I mean, if a woman wants to, by all means,
Then
go
she
for
can.
it. But I'm just saying, men are providers, so go do that job. Go learn a trade. Go do something, you know?
Well, you said that that's all they're good for.
Yeah,
And what are you good for?
a lot of things.
Like?
I'm funny. I'm smart.
You haven't demonstrated that yet.
Okay, well, that's
Neither-
your
neither of
opinion.
those qualities
I'm a
of either
musician. I
funny or smart.
dance.
You
The
dance?
list, the list goes on and on.
What a great quality. You can dance. What do you bring to the table, though?
What do I bring to the table?
Yeah.
I'm smart.
The chat,
I'm
Nick.
funny. I'm attractive. I have talents.
What talent in?
I just said I'm a musician. I dance.
What kind of music do you play?
I play a lot of different music.
Like?
I play my guitar, so I play like
There's a
alt
guitar
rock.
here. Can you play a tune and show us how
I-
talented you are?
I don't want to do that.
Don't want to?
I mean, I could.
But you're an amazing goddess, talented goddess.
I am talented,
Oh.
but I also don't really want to like serenade a bunch of people that didn't
I
ask
don't-
to be
I
serenaded.
don't know if men are so useless that their only job is to be providing for you. It sounds like you're just a typified eater. Like, I don't know what you're really bringing to the table. You're just kind of consuming resources, right?
But what does that even mean?
Can you at least cook?
It means
Yeah, I can cook, actually. I'm a really great
It means I
cook.
don't know what you're doing.
I can cook. I know how
build-
to. I mean,
help
if you want to
assist with
hear
the building of society.
the answer that I could be domesticated and I can cook and clean and do all that, I can. I can.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is what value are you bringing to society?
To society, like nurses do. I mean,
By being me, I don't.
Dentist.
By
I don't
being
know.
you. I'm enough.
I am enough.
Okay.
Let's do the rest of the tweets.
How many are we doing?
Just a few.
Let's do them all.
Yeah, let's do all.
Let's put us bigger. Can you read it?
Life is always better when you have a male punching bag to abuse whenever you need it.
And you're referencing these mentally ill men that you take advantage of.
These are
Mentally ill.
recent.
Yeah,
Huh?
these are
This is
recent.
These are
Yeah.
so
Oh,
recent.
yeah, yeah.
That was a few days ago.
Yeah. Go on.
Pull that one up again one more time, Nick.
Is this like about men?
Also, you gotta
specifically, or
fix
did,
it.
like,
I mean, you
one
have
guy-
to understand
one guy
this
really
is
got
an
it from
account that's based on kink, like BDSM. So I mean,
But
I
do
mean,
you
this
you
is-
actually
Is this
mean
like
it, or is it
networking
like
purposes?
Is it yeah, exactly. Is it
well,
networking
this is just work, or do you actually really think that?
yeah?
I mean, I can't really answer that. Like, sure, sometimes I say stuff that might have a little bit of truth behind it, but also, I mean, this is a job for me too. So you're playing into the kink a little bit.
So is that the character you're playing, or is that you?
I mean, I don't really think I play a character. I am me, and I'm
Then that's you.
sure.
Okay.
Pull that same one up again real quick. Male punching bag to abuse. So when you say to abuse, how do you abuse your male punching bags?
I punch them.
Oh, like physically?
I mean, I've like kicked a guy in the balls, and he's enjoyed it. So yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, we'll get through all of them and then I'll give my... Okay, go ahead.
It's always the fuggliest normie man that assumes I'm a witch and that I'd ever waste my energy doing a spell on him. Pack it up, Miss Delusional. Go take a hard look in the mirror.
Fuggliest normie men. Interesting, okay.
Are men concerned you're doing spells?
I've gotten a comment before.
Do you do spells?
I can neither confirm nor deny, and that's just being real. I don't like. I think like spells. Like, I mean, anyone can do a spell without outwardly saying they're
Yeah,
doing a
what
spell.
kind of... Like, so what would, if you're casting a spell, what would be a spell that you would cast?
When goddamn love you.
I mean, like
What?
abundance. An abundance spell. Like, I have an altar. I sit in front of my altar. I light candles. I kind of meditate and manifest abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you could call that a spell.
But I mean, do you ever cast a negative
No, I don't believe in
spell? A dark
casting.
spell or something?
Well, wouldn't all spells be a negative?
No.
Well, you say you cast a spell of abundance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let us assume that you cast a spell for more money. How could you ever receive more money without somehow interfering with the will of other people who ordinarily would not produce whatever the situation would be necessary for you to get that money?
What do you mean by that?
Well, so like let's for instance pretend that you're in front of your altar and you cast a spell for a bike. Well, unless you believe that the clouds are just going to open up and drop a bike, I assume that you think a bike will come to you through some other mechanism. Somebody still had to build it. They still had to do X, Y, and Z. So if somehow this bike gets to you, and it ordinarily would not have gotten to you absent this spell, how would you not be affecting other people's wills?
I mean, I'm not affecting other people's wills because it's just a means for me to get closer to what I want. Like, how is that affecting someone else's will?
Well, I just explained it to you. So let us assume for a second you wanted a glass of water that you would not ordinarily get. Mm-hmm. This is why you cast a spell. Your neighbor comes over and he gives you a glass of water, right? He ordinarily would not have given you the glass of water absent the spell, or you wouldn't need the spell. Didn't you affect your neighbor's will?
I mean, maybe he just wanted to give me a glass of water. I don't know.
Well, then why would you need the spell?
Because it's just a spiritual practice.
So it doesn't work?
How do you know, though, that...
It does work.
If it does work, then I don't see how you get around the fact that you are affecting people's will.
I don't know how manifesting abundance for myself, which is very vague, honestly, would interfere with someone else's will.
Because I don't know how you would get the abundance, right, in any other way than affecting people's will, or I don't see why you would need the spell to begin with. This is the big downfall and pitfall of the logic of magic. It's why out of all religious practices, it makes the least amount of sense, because magicians and witches always say that they practice white magic, the magic of abundance or growing or nurturing. But I don't see how you actually could do that without affecting the will of the things that are around you. I don't even see how that's possible.
How do you know that it's not the will of those things to be affected, though?
So,
you know what I mean?
So,
Like,
but here's the thing. If it's the will of those things to be affected, why do you need the spell?
It's not that I need it. It's that I choose.
No, hang on.
No, I mean, like, like, it was the will... But I don't even know if I can make this make sense, but it makes sense in my head. Like,
no, I see what you're saying.
It was the will that she was gonna do the spell to then impact the will.
So it's still
track?
impacting, but it's still impacting the will.
Yeah, but it was like always supposed to.
It was. Then why would you need the spell?
Yeah.
You wouldn't need the
You
spell.
would need
Yeah,
the spell
then
for
it
a
you
natural
always have.
already
So you
lead
always
to
go
that
back to
outcome.
ground zero.
It is, yeah.
How do you translate this to like prayer?
Prayer, you're asking God for something in His will, not trying to change the will of
this
someone
is all.
else.
But I never said I was
you're-
trying to
So
change
when
the
you're
will of
praying to
someone
God,
else.
the assumption is God is omnipotent. So when you're praying, you're only asking to execute the will of God, never the will of you, never the will of anybody other than the being of God itself. Witchcraft's the opposite. Witchcraft is asking universe, whatever the hell they are praying. Sometimes it's the idea of this universal constant, which then delivers the thing unto you that you want. Sometimes it's called the law of attraction.
Right.
Sometimes it's called other things. But that's basically what it's doing. I have never been able to rationally figure out how that could be possible without affecting the will of other people.
And then how do you think like meditation plays into that? Because, well, I guess we're talking about impacting the will of ourselves or others. This is getting slightly
Well,
confusing.
she was asking for abundance, so that would be the will of...
Or how would
are you
that be
asking
the
for
will of
abundance- Are you
others?
asking abundance
Because
for
I
yourself?
don't-
Oh, yes, abundance for myself.
Yes.
That could be literally giving me the strength to go another level and do something for myself. Like, I never said I was going to affect the will of others. You're putting words in my mouth.
Well, no, I don't see how you would receive abundance, though. What I said specifically was externally. Ever externally, unless you were affecting the will of other people. I just don't see how that's possible.
Well, maybe you just
So if
have
you
a
just
smaller
say,
brain. I don't know.
if you just say, well, I light a candle so that I get up and am motivated to go to the gym the next day, right? Fine, I guess, but I don't even know why that would require a spell exactly. The idea of spelling is old, right?
I mean, it's a spiritual practice.
Yeah,
Everyone
well,
engages in their own spiritual practices.
Wouldn't it you call more it manifesting then than a spell?
Yeah, what do you manifest?
I mean,
Yeah.
you could
'Cause
call
isn't-
it manifesting. There's multiple words for it.
What's another word for it?
Spelling, spells.
Yeah, so the spell is designed to manifest?
Sure.
Well, then if you're manifesting, then I just don't see how you would manifest X thing, dominating external will. I don't understand how that can be done.
Well, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, but But no, we can't agree to disagree. Because I actually just need you to agree, or give me an argument for how I'm wrong.
I
here.
literally just gave you an argument.
What is the argument?
I told you that I'm not affecting the will of others. I'm affecting my own will.
So
Does that make sense?
So you only do spells and say specifically that this spell is for personal motivation to do X thing and make it happen.
Personal
only
abundance.
if it comes from you.
Wouldn't that just be self-discipline
chat.
then?
You can call it whatever you want. I mean, I don't know like why it's such a big deal, to be honest.
Oh,
Well, I only would think it was a big deal if a person ordinarily would not think that it was okay to affect the will against other people's will.
Didn't I just say in that tweet though that like I wouldn't waste my time even trying to affect the will of him or said person, whoever I was talking
Yeah, but
about?
that might be a different way that you view that situation than you do magic or witchcraft.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm untangling the ideas. So, no, it's not actually, though, an argument to say, well, no, I only do it as a manifestation of things which will come from me, unless you're telling me you only make spells and craft them and pray to whatever the thing is that you're praying to for self-motivation to actualize things from your own personal perspective, which I doubt.
I mean, again, it's meditation. It's just sitting there, focusing my thoughts, pinpointing what I want to work on, manifesting, like you said.
Do you ever manifest stuff you want?
I mean, sure.
Well, how do you manifest stuff you want without affecting external wills?
I don't
then?
care if I'm affecting external
There
wills.
we go. I don't care. That's what I was looking for. I don't give a shit if you have a will, which ordinarily would not be affected by me, that I affect to get the shit I want. But I'm not a psychopath.
What if
Not a sociopath.
I want what if we were to take this on like a positive note though? Because like when people meditate, oftentimes it's with good intentions to impact others and to impact their will. You know what I mean? So
So
what she's
let
talking about
us-
is different than
I agree.
meditation, though.
Yeah,
It's not
but hang on. But
meditation,
I want to
though.
engage. I want to engage directly with what you're saying because you're making a good point, right? What if the will I have is positive on somebody else? So let me give you a demonstration of how I think that you wouldn't really believe this. Okay. So if you were to, let's say, do something horrible to your partner from their perspective, but from your perspective, you're only doing this thing as a way to be positive. It's helping them in some way. But from their perspective, it was awful, right? An example of this might be something as simple as, I don't know, slipping their medication into their drink at night so that they were taking their medication, let's say.
I think I'm coming from a more
Yeah, but hang on.
Okay.
Right? To engage with this directly, I would like to know, isn't it also true that if somebody doesn't want their will affected and you affect it, even if your intention is positive, that you would still think that that was kind of fucked up or wrong in some way?
Well, I suppose what I'm maybe because what I'm thinking more is like if you take it from a perspective, if you're looking from like a spiritual perspective and meditating, like I'm not talking about slipping a pill in anyone's drink to help them out. I'm thinking about
No, I'm just giving you an example of how you can have a positive intention.
Right.
But your positive intention, if you are affecting the will of somebody else, right? Even from your perspective, I think you wouldn't think that was okay.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking more about spiritual practice with meditation and like, but we don't really need to get into a whole like religious spiritual
I mean, that's
thing.
fine. We can move it on from there.
Yeah.
We got more tweets. I love hurting men. Or, sorry, you should say it in your own words.
I love hurting men. Heart.
Now, does this extend beyond the findom? Like in a general sense, do you love hurting men?
No, I mean, if I have a partner, I would never want to hurt him.
No, what about you? It's not a partner, just men in general.
I mean, if they're not getting into the kink, then no, I don't really I don't sit here and I'm like, I just want to hurt someone today. Like, again, this is kink based.
Didn't you say that you enjoy it? Like you find it funny?
Yeah.
I do find it funny, but they're giving into the kink.
I mean, but the tweet itself doesn't say anything about, like, here's an asterisk disclaimer, this is specifically about a kink. Your tweet lives on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. And I mean, anyone that's
fact-
looking at my account usually is within the community, so they would have an understanding
of
of
that. It's a
that.
public Twitter profile. Anybody could stumble upon your thing. I mean, even in your profile, there's no such asterisk or disclaimer that says, by the way, these are satirical, or this is only within the context of this kink. And even if, I mean, so you're not really disclaiming away that you are talking about just all men in general.
Because I don't have to disclaim. If you want to look at that tweet and get offended, that is on your own volition. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here being like, who am I going to hurt today?
I mean, you don't think that that's an offensive thing?
I mean, it's offensive, but people say offensive shit every day.
What if the roles were reversed? Like, what if a guy tweeted,
I mean,
I love to hurt women?
Then everyone has the ability to argue against something. If you feel that strongly, say something. And if you don't, whatever.
Well, I'm just looking for a concession that it has absolutely nothing to do with your kink, and this is actually just how you genuinely view men.
This is my kink.
Your kink or your... It's not your kink, right?
Well, I mean, like,
You're just doing it for money. It has nothing to do with your sex.
I mean, I'm into it in an extent of, like, it's a practice, like it's BDSM, like if you're in a dom space or like for some a sub space, like this is what you're into, but it doesn't mean you're into it all day every day. Like you leave, like subs, they leave sub space where they work in the military, or I have plenty of subs that have done, you know, pretty important, like crazy jobs. But you know what I mean?
But it's not your kink. It's their kink.
I mean, my kink is financial domination. I'm also into, you know, like the humiliation. Like, I enjoy humiliating men. I think it's fun.
Yeah, so you derive sexual pleasure by saying things on Twitter such as... Pull it up.
The last one.
The last one. I love hurting men. You derive sexual pleasure from either saying or doing those things.
I mean, if... the situation is like a submissive is like getting off to that, then yeah, I think it's hot.
No, but
like,
you said it's your kink, so you're deriving pleasure simply by virtue of saying that.
Yeah, I get pleasure from it. I get pleasure from tweeting like that. I think it's fun. I like it.
So if somebody had a kink, for example, where they because like I don't think you can explain away behavior purely, and here's the pretext or justification of a behavior. It's a kink, it gives me sexual pleasure. There are certain things that can just be deemed objectively wrong. So like hurting animals, would you agree that that's wrong?
Yeah, that's
wrong. What
wrong.
if somebody derives sexual pleasure from hurting animals?
Then that's fucked up.
How's this any different than you saying you like hurting men?
Because they're men, and a lot of men like hurting women, so.
I'm not sure I totally follow there.
What was hard to follow?
Well, your justification is, well, men do bad things, so I can also do bad things to perhaps even innocent men, because there's bad men out there who do bad things to conceivably innocent women.
These aren't innocent men. They're coming to me for this. You know what I mean? Like,
Nobody came to you on your Twitter. That's just you putting it out into the ether.
Well, yeah, it's called marketing.
So then you don't actually believe it.
No, she does believe it.
I do believe it.
It's her.
So then it's not just marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, it is marketing. I am marketing myself. Like,
But
I'm
you
putting that out.
So here, X person.
Hang on. This was
wait.
She brought up like the kill shot here. So the logic is, I do believe this. No, I don't. It's marketing. Okay, well then it can't just be marketing if you do believe this.
I didn't say I don't believe it. I just said it's marketing. And
No, but you said that you enjoy it and that you like it.
I do enjoy it.
and that
I
you get
enjoy
pleasure out of it, so
humiliating
it's
men.
not just
It's
marketing.
not just marketing, yeah.
I mean, sure, you could call it not just marketing, but in that sense where I'm tweeting something general like that, that's marketing.
Okay,
Yeah, but you also believe it.
Sure,
That it's not marketing. It's not well, not just marketing, right? It's
Yeah.
something you believe.
Right, but
so it's marketing your set of beliefs.
Yeah, in a context of BDSM, I enjoy humiliating men, yeah.
Not external this context.
I mean, in my everyday life, I'm not going to go up to a man and be like, you're fucking ugly, like, fuck you, like, for no reason.
Well, I mean, the evidence already exists. You post misandrist comments
True.
on Twitter.
Is this sorry, is this account though specific to that? Or
Yeah, I don't use that account for anything
it's not
else.
like a personal account.
No.
You would consider it like a BDSM account.
Yes, yeah. That it's labeled as that.
I mean, that's a really easy way to try to like shield from
That's true.
what we're trying to get at here. But so when it comes to the marketing component, in the example I previously provided, where if somebody was sexually gratified by harming animals, if they just defended it while it's marketing, that still is not a defense to the abuse of animals.
I mean, I don't co-sign the abuse of animals. I love
What about
animals.
the abuse of men?
Sure, I
You're
co-sign
fine.
it.
Okay, well,
Would you eat animals?
Huh?
Do you eat animals?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Can't care that much about them.
But you're comparing
God.
though, and maybe you're not. Maybe you're just comparing general belief system, but you're comparing like hurting men to hurting animals, whereas like hurting men in the context of sex is like a thing. You know what I mean? But is that not the comparison you're making? You're just making it like that's the personal preference.
No. Actually, he's kind of going with what you're saying here. So Brian's, again, just trying to untangle the ideas.
No, so me too.
So to untangle it, is the idea here that this is just a character? She's just playing a character?
Okay, yeah.
And if you're just playing a character, fine, right? Okay, we can concede. You're playing a character, and that's all you're doing. But it seems every time we lean into, is this just a character, we get, no, these are actually what I believe.
I said it
not
was
just
a
the
kink.
character.
I mean, obviously, you can call it a character if you want. I mean, there are men that I enjoy humiliating, like in person. Like I was in Vegas about a month or two ago. Some guy tried to photobomb my picture. I said, "Get the fuck out of my fucking picture, bitch!" Like, you know, I thought it was funny, and it was. So
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being funny to tell somebody to get the fuck out of your picture shot. Fine, sure. But what we're asking here, is this you or is this a character that you are playing?
I would say it is a character, 85% based on who I am.
Okay. So then I guess the last question, I'm going to try to give you the easiest out possible. So if there was never money exchanged in hands again, right, would you do this for fun?
Well, FinDom is my main kink, so it would depend, but no, I probably wouldn't give out free kink for no money. What's
But,
the fun in that?
With a partner or something? Like, do you enjoy?
I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to be
Partnered with somebody who did
partnered
that.
with someone like that. Yeah, I want to be
So
partnered
then
with
this is
someone
a
that's
character. You can admit that
confident.
it's
That's a
inherently
character.
wrong.
Then that's a character.
Sure, it's wrong. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm
Got the
still
kill
not,
shots on this side of the table tonight.
I'm still not convinced that it's a character, though. I mean, I just think this is just your genuine self.
Demeanor, yeah. I mean, I don't have to convince you. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe about me. There's plenty of people in my life that can attest to my great character. And I'm sure there's people that couldn't.
Okay, next tweet. Let's close the doors, Nick.
Maybe there wouldn't be a loneliness epidemic for men if they all knew their place as inanimate objects devoted to my financial pleasure.
Okay. Why are the girls laughing at this?
Because it's just like a kind of outrageous statement to me.
Yeah, it
I
is.
think that's kind of crazy. Like,
Sure, call it crazy.
do you genuinely believe that that's all that men are good for? Is just fine.
I think it's situational.
Yeah.
Like, do you want a husband one day?
Maybe. I haven't really decided on that yet.
Go ahead.
Because honestly, like realistically, if a man were to see that, all the tweets that you post up, and you say, "This is my job," he's just only gonna use you just to have sex with you. That's it. He will never take you serious. He will never give you children. He'll never give you the home that you want.
I don't want children, so.
You're saying that now, but once you get older, you're gonna start to feel a lot more lonely when you start seeing all your friends, all your families settling down with their kids, with their dogs, their cats, their kids going to their sporting events. They're cheering their kids on. You're gonna feel lonely.
I won't, because I can vicariously live through them, you know, be an aunt, whatever. Like, I don't need to have kids to feel fulfilled.
That's what makes women feel the most fulfilled.
That's not true. Like,
It's
that's
definitely
your
true.
opinion.
Like, when women meet up with each other, one of the first, especially if you're married and you have kids, how are the kids doing? I saw Mike at his basketball tournament. He did a great job. And then the guys will talk about whatever the guys want to talk about, but they always talk about kids. Whenever women meet up and they have families, that's what we talk about. Because kids make us feel happy. I want to be a mother one day. I don't ever not want to have children. I want to have a husband. I want to have all those things. That's just what's going to make us feel whole. That's literally the main two things.
Okay, well, I have decided that I don't want children. I don't think it would make me feel whole. I am happy with myself. I'm happy with what I do. And if a man decides to come along, which that's actually not true, there's plenty of women in this industry that are married, that are in happy, healthy relationships. And some of them do have kids. So, I mean, that's not true. There are
The rest of us
different
are
people
childless cat ladies.
It's going to be a different perspective for everyone. I mean, I think to say that what you think is just fact, that's what's going to make every woman feel fulfilled. That's just not true. And I mean, two things can be true at once. You can have your belief, I can have mine. You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to die alone.
I never said I was going to die alone.
But if you don't have children, you don't have a man, you're going to die. By definition, you're going to die alone. You're not going to have anybody. Your parents are already going to be long gone.
I don't agree with the children part.
Like, because on your dying bed, you want to see all that you created, the family that you created. You want to see your kids and your grandkids, them all surrounding you on your last moments. That's what, just like, you just do. You don't want to be sitting there just
That's
like,
what
damn,
you
nobody
want.
came for me. Like, you don't ever want to have to be in that position.
That's what you want. And I have plenty of great friends. Like, I'm choosing not to be in a relationship. There's plenty of guys that I've been seeing that I've been like, don't really think I see a future with you. And like, that's on my own volition. Like, sure, have there been guys that like things haven't worked out with and it's kind of a whatever, like on their terms? Like, sure. But I'm just saying, I don't feel like I need to be with a man to feel fulfilled. And I know plenty of women that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that don't have partners or children, and they're just fine.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Those types of women are going to keep women like us, the younger women, in that position. They're not happy. They want to see other women unhappy just like them. I guarantee you, what they want is that man and the kids. They weren't able to get it because of their own bad decision making.
What about lesbians? They don't want
Yeah,
men.
but this is a podcast about straight couples. No offense to the gays. I mean, you guys do what you want, but at the end of the day, a man and a woman together, we create population, we create the economy. Two girls doing this, two guys doing this. That doesn't create population. It doesn't. This is like for straight people. No offense to gays.
Should I not be on here then?
You're bisexual.
I think it's like you can
You're
still
with a
create
man.
fulfillment. Just, I feel like it's in a different way.
Can I ask if you've ever had a span of time where you haven't been searching for a relationship or wanting something and like genuinely just sat with yourself and figured out what you want?
Yeah, I have. Plenty of times.
How long was that?
Like 6 months to a year, but I'm not seeking out a relationship right now. Again, I'm very happy by myself. I have some men that I talk to here and there, but I don't really place much importance upon them unless they prove to me that they are important.
So if you met a guy that was the one, and he said, you need to take all that stuff down, you're not doing that anymore, would you stop doing it?
No.
Okay.
Wait, do you
That's
not?
wild.
You said you don't place much importance on men. I mean, but removing it from the sort of micro level in terms of romantic prospects here, you would at least admit that on a societal level, and I'm not even talking for reproduction, that you very much need men.
I mean, I guess if you want to get like scientific about it, sure,
Has
you need
nothing-
men to reproduce.
No,
No,
I
no,
excluded
not
reproduction.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
So,
I mean, I think that men are valuable in the sense that they provide. That's about it.
what if they don't provide
Then they're not valuable
in
to
terms
me.
of money?
They're not valuable to me.
Well, I'm not saying on the micro level.
What do you mean by
He's
that?
saying like large scale in society.
So you're saying if a guy doesn't provide for me, like
Okay.
money, resources, right? Now they might be providing in some sort of way that you're not aware of.
Okay.
Well, okay, so men are unilaterally responsible for every bit of comfort and security that you're currently ungratefully enjoying.
Then let me be ungrateful. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I'm pretty firm in my beliefs.
Okay, so, oh man, are we going to get into like the if all men disappeared thing?
Oh, we wouldn't last.
So essentially, like everything that allows
we would. We'd be the first
everything,
thing.
everything that allows your life to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Men are unilaterally responsible for that.
Yeah.
Everything.
Providing, yeah.
Well, I think when you say providing, you're talking about like a sort of direct financial compensation to you.
Not really. I mean, like providing, you know, a house to live in, and I don't even mean that in the financial aspect. I think like building it, providing, you know, safe infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, I suppose at least you acknowledge that. Let's do the next tweet.
You're not a man. You're a hopeless, pathetic gooner under the spell of dominant brats.
Oh, brat summer.
Is this directed at a specific person or just men in general?
That might have been directed towards a specific person.
I mean, I agree with that tweet though. if you hire a dommy mommy, I think you're just a fucking gooner, and yeah, I think you're just a gooner at that point.
Next.
The only time I will ever be mean to another woman is if she disrespects me or someone I love. Baseless hate only brings you misfortune.
I feel like that goes for everyone.
Yeah, that goes for everyone.
Kind of, yeah.
You hate men?
I mean,
But you want them to provide for you?
Hold on,
Yeah.
let's let
And
her
you
answer.
rely on men for money, but you hate them?
I don't rely on men for money.
You
I'm a
do.
bartender.
That's literally your actual profession.
No, that is a side gig. I'm a bartender. I provide for myself
What's
with.
the male versus female clientele at the bar?
Honestly, men be drinking.
There's plenty of women that come
that's
in.
not what I asked though. Is it more men than women?
No, I work. No, I would say it's equal.
Equal.
I work in a restaurant industry. A lot of men drink.
I mean, yeah, a lot of men do drink. Yeah.
That was a good call out.
I know, yeah.
But I do want to dive more into this. You said you hate men, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, again, situational. I mean, there's some men that I don't hate. I would say you're in my world with men, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Did something happen? Is that why you have a certain?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
That's
because
what I'm
something must have
curious about
happened.
too.
I mean, I don't. Sure, something probably did happen.
Because a woman, if men in your life have always treated you right or treated you kind, you wouldn't be thinking the way that you're thinking. You wouldn't even have the job that you have.
Do you have any brothers?
I do have a brother. I have an older brother. Yeah.
Do you hate him?
No.
Is his only worth to provide for you?
No, he doesn't provide for me. He's
So-
my brother. I love him.
So he has worth outside of providing for you?
Yeah, he's my brother. I
What
love
about
him.
your father? Same thing?
He's my father.
So he has value outside of this? Just every other man except your immediate family, they're not valuable unless they're providing for you?
They're not valuable until they prove to me that they're valuable.
By providing for you?
Sure, it could be providing for me, yeah.
What are the other ways they could prove it?
No, actually, I think it's just providing. You're
Okay.
right.
Not support.
I mean, I don't really look to men for support. I have plenty of women in my life.
Your job.
Okay,
they're
well,
supporting your. You know, if you need to buy groceries, they're supporting your habits with food and all. I mean, they're paying for everything. They're supporting everything.
but they're not. I just said that that's supplemental income I make.
Yeah, but you even said a couple minutes ago you wouldn't stop your profession even if a good man came into your life. You need those simp ass men, those weak ass dudes, to pay your rent, to feed you, to clothe you.
The
I
Gooners.
do. Well, you know what's funny
You
is
need
that
them.
I enjoy the community. Like I have friends in the community. I
There's no
enjoy the
way.
community.
Yeah, but you don't respect those men. If
But
you
there's other women in that community that I really respect
but
and
you're
I
not
enjoy.
trying to date those women.
No,
You're not trying to marry
but they're
those
my
women.
friends.
Your friends are. You know, as you get older, no, you're 26. I was gonna say, as you get older, you're gonna drop a lot of your old friends, but
No,
you're stuck.
I have plenty of friends that I've been friends with for like 10 plus
And
years
they're
now.
and they support what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
they don't
they
see
do.
anything wrong with it. They don't.
They
say,
love
"Girl,
it."
Maybe you shouldn't. Those aren't real friends. I'm sorry, girl.
No, they're real
what
friends.
you're doing is not something that you'd actually show to your parents. Hey,
My mom-
mom and dad, look at what I'm doing. I made this guy punch himself in the balls.
My mom knows about this stuff.
There's no way you're actually happy with that. I wouldn't be happy with that.
I'm very happy.
No. I've done music videos that I shouldn't have done, that I'm not happy with. I mean, let's be real. We're not all happy with the things and the choices that we've done in our lives.
I mean, sure,
I'm not
we all
happy
make-
that I've stolen from Walmart in the past. You're not happy with what you're doing. You know you're not. There's no way.
I'm pretty
There's
happy.
no way.
Do you ever wake up like just tired of hating men? Like that must be exhausting.
No, I
Really?
wake up pretty fulfilled.
I have a question. Do you think that part of why you're single or have like a harder time dating men is because of what you do?
I never said I have a hard time
Well, you
dating
said it
men.
hasn't worked out or like it hasn't been the one that you're looking for.
Yeah, because I haven't
But do
found
you
the
think
one.
it's because the kind of men that you attract?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I might attract some shitty men, as all of us probably have. But no, I've attracted some really great men. Like, and it just hasn't worked out.
Why?
Time, place, like, timing is everything, you know?
And they're okay with what you do?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They would have wifed you if they were okay with it.
I don't want to be wifed. I'm not out here being like, please choose me, pick me. Like, that's not
It's not trying to be a pick me, though.
It's a natural inclination to want to be.
But that's natural for you. Like, I've always been independent. Like,
No, I mean like biologically speaking.
Yeah.
biologically speaking, I don't want
The
children.
pick-me's are smart because the pick-me's go pick me, and then the women who are bitter about it are like, yeah, pick them. It's like,
the 40-year-old.
Yeah, it seems like it works out really well for the pick-me's because not only are they the ones who get picked because they're pick-me's, but then the women who are always seething go, yeah, you need to pick them. So it's like it just works out double well for them.
I mean, I'm not seething. I'm pretty, like, content.
Okay.
Next tweet.
Oh, yeah.
I love stealing a man's soul and his wallet. Heart.
I mean, not sure if much explanation is needed on that one.
I mean, that's like kind of regurgitated from the other type of shit.
Next.
Men fear me because I'm hotter, funnier, smarter, and more interesting than them and their wives. Hee hee, LOL.
Erroneous.
Family involved.
I mean, that's
These men
playing
have
into the
families.
kink, honestly. Like, I won't even lie. Like, I'm not really into the home wrecking stuff, but I was playing into the kink that day.
So you never willingly knew that you were messing with a guy that was married?
I mean, a lot of these guys are probably married.
Oof.
That's not good.
Okay? I'm literally, like, I can't help that this is what they're into. And it's not really my, like...
I mean, you
But you're
could
choosing.
help it.
I wouldn't even cross a...
I said I can't help what they choose to do. I can help what I choose to do, and this makes me happy.
It doesn't.
It makes you happy seeing people with wives feed into their fetishes
cheated on.
and get cheating on their
I
wives.
never said that. And first of
You
all,
said
if they're
this is what
cheating,
makes me happy.
you're taking that out of context.
It's being implied in what you're saying.
Yeah,
I just said I wasn't into home wrecking.
Wait, you have something? It looks like you were... No, it looked like you were about to talk.
She said it.
Oh, we got to give you a chance to talk here. Go ahead, say it.
Even if it was already said.
You can say it in German. How about that?
Yeah.
Say it into the mic.
In German?
Yeah, say you're from Austria.
But what, yeah.
You don't speak German?
Of course I speak German.
Oh, there you go. Say it in German. Can you say something? Yeah, just say it in German.
Okay. Wait, I have to think.
Or like Austrian, wouldn't?
Austria.
Well, they speak German.
Yeah,
I know
German.
they do, but isn't Austrian its own language too?
I think it's just a
Not
different
Austrian,
dialect.
it's German too.
Okay.
Like Germany.
I'm just asking. I don't know. Trying to get culture.
Go ahead, in German.
Weil sie hat ja gesagt, dass die Männer sich aussuchen, auch wenn sie verheiratet sind, dass
Yep.
Und sie kann halt machen, was sie will. Aber sie muss ja nicht, wenn sie verheiratet sind, sollte sie trotzdem Nein dazu sagen.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I feel like my you just raised.
Boom. Nice. Okay. Okay. Next tweet. Men are punished.
Yeah, we saw that one.
Yeah, we did that one.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we?
No.
I think
We
it was
did.
something
No,
similar,
for sure.
though.
It was
No.
probably something
That
similar.
one was way too memorable.
was
I already-
similar.
Yeah.
Next one then.
I really have only been in the mood to play Fortnite and make men cry lately.
Okay.
I understand the Fortnite part.
Cool. Glad you do.
You guys have something in common.
Lots of things.
Next.
Fortnite cars.
It's kind of sad when you think about the fact that the patriarchy literally indoctrinates women to hate other women for being women. You look like a clown.
The patriarchy. Is that the last tweet, Nick? I believe so. Okay. Just double check if it is. So why don't we get into the patriarchy stuff, and then we'll get into more actual dating stuff in a bit. It's related.
It is. Yeah.
You know, the patriarchy has a lot to do with dating.
Sure.
So, I asked earlier if you consider yourself a feminist. You said no.
I wouldn't label
I mean,
myself as that. I'm sure I align with feminist values, yeah.
Right, because you oh my God, I'm having like a stroke tonight or something. I don't know what's going on. I'm out of it. You use a lot of feminist coded language.
Sure, yeah.
Patriarchy, for example. So what is the patriarchy? Actually, wait, before I have you answer that, I do want to ask everybody at the table. I'm all over the place tonight. I don't know I didn't sleep well yesterday. Oh my, what is going on? I'm all over the place today. So just going around the table, do you consider yourself a feminist?
I don't know. I guess. I feel like this is how I feel about it. People who say they're feminists and like want equality always talk about how women should be like executives and CEOs and stuff, but like they don't consider that there's low jobs that like they should also have if we truly want equality. Like, ain't no girl out there flashing her titties in a park for equality. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a lot of public flashers that are dudes. Like, I'm interested in seeing a woman, you know, take that stand. So.
Well, I mean, a ton of women do march in the nude for women's rights.
That's not what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, like, public flasher, public masturbator. Like, where are we at, you know? It's a joke.
Wait.
It's a joke. Chill out. It's a joke.
That's a little lost.
I guess I'm a feminist. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. And in the greater set, it kills.
Make me laugh, funny lady.
Well, I can't get a word in.
So yes, feminist?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you said no.
Rock and roll.
What about you?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Oh, whoops. Did not mean to press that. My bad.
No.
Okay. All right. But you did mention the patriarchy, so
Yeah.
why don't we go into that? What is the patriarchy?
The system of beliefs held by men who are, you know, overly in power to basically just set their standard of what society should be.
Mm-hmm.
Based off their beliefs of, you know.
Are they in power because they're men?
I mean, sure, probably.
Mm-hmm. And so what percentage of men are in power?
A lot. I don't know. That's a very specific question.
But I mean, do you think it might have more to do with like their class or status than the fact that they have a penis?
No, I think it usually starts with them having a penis. I think they will get ahead in life a lot easier if they're men.
Mm-hmm.
No. No. Men have it way hard. Men actually have to work to become something. We're just here. Like, to be quite honest with you, we could get into clubs without having to pay for shit. We could get bottle service without having to pay for anything.
But can we get paid the same as men?
We do. If we didn't, that'd be an issue.
What are you talking about? Women do not make as much as men.
If a woman cannot do the exact same amount of work as a man, you can't expect that woman to get paid the same. If a woman construction worker and a man construction worker, we're working right now together. The man is carrying 100 pounds of weight. The woman can only carry 50. Why the hell would that woman get paid the same?
Why? What about a man who's an executive and a woman who's an executive?
Is she putting in the same amount of work?
Yes.
I mean, let's be real here. If that woman is an executive and let's say she gets pregnant, should she deserve the same amount of money as the man that's actually still going to be at work?
Besides, you're at the mercy of the firm's argument, which is, if it were true, that what you're saying is true, that women who are not in these construction jobs and this type of thing, but rather are in kind of comfy AC-related jobs like the men, and they're getting paid less than them, then why wouldn't a man create an entire firm of women and then destroy their competition because they're now paying their staff way less?
Yeah, why not?
Am I wrong that women get paid less than men? Because I don't think I am. I think that's pretty common knowledge.
But if that is the case, right? So this is what I'm questioning is the basis for this case, right? If it were the case that were true,
which it is.
If it is, then why doesn't a woman even or a man just hire a firm of these women and pay them less than the firm that are hiring men, because they would make a killing with an all-woman staff?
You tell me. I don't know. I'm not a dude. I'm not making that decision. If I hired a firm full of women, you bet I would pay them just as much as I'm not going to pay them less. That seems
but
backwards.
But you would think a man would, right?
Potentially. I mean, I don't know who's been paying us less. I don't think it's women.
Well, then if it's men, then why wouldn't a man just have a firm of all women and pay them less if they get the same amount of work out of them?
I mean, that's a question for a dude. I can't answer that.
Why couldn't you answer that?
Why wouldn't a man have a firm of all women and pay them less? I don't know.
I mean, because then they would destroy the competition who's paying the men more, right?
Okay, so, I mean, why don't we see that then, if that's the case?
Because it's not the case that men are making more in those positions than women are. If it was the case that you could pay women less to do the same job, then why wouldn't you just make a firm and pay all of them way less for the same job?
So you're talking about the wage gap, right? So why don't you tell us what your sense of the wage gap is? Because there's these numbers that get thrown around. Women make 77 cents on the dollar as compared to men. Is that what you're talking about when you say the wage gap?
Yeah.
So what is the number that you think it is?
It's around that.
Like 80 cents on the dollar?
Something like that,
Nick,
and then women of color make even less.
Yeah, Nick, we have something on that too. So two things, Nick. The pay scale website on the wage gap, and then there's also, so you just do Google pay scale, wage gap, and then also in the infographics folder there is the, hold on, there's the wage folder, and in it you mentioned women, you mentioned in women of color. Mm-hmm. So Nick, you're going to pull up it's in the wage gap folder, the Asian women one, but it's not number 2. It's the one in the middle with the straight lines. Do the Asian women first, then we'll do pay scale. Okay, so you mentioned women of color. Actually, Asian women out-earn white men. This is the median weekly earnings of full-time workers, white men versus Asian women. That's 2 minority categories.
In higher paying jobs is what you're saying.
No, across the board.
Am I
doing a comparison to comparison? So my understanding of how this is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. They just take all the earnings of men, all the earnings of white men compared to all the earnings of Asian women. Now these are all full-time workers, mind you. Now the wage gap that you referenced earlier, that encompasses all the money that men bring in and all the money women bring in. So it could be making a comparison of a woman who has a part-time job as a barista, and part of that data is also comparing it to men who work on oil rigs who get hazard pay.
And then where are you guys pulling your stuff from?
Nick, you can pull up pay scale. Pay scale is a fairly, it's actually pretty, I think it's actually pretty left-leaning. It's a fairly reputable company. Can you scroll down, Nick? There should be like a circle chart. Scroll down. Okay. Can you scroll in on that one? You might even be able to right-click and I don't know if it's an image. The gender pay gap in 2024. So the uncontrolled gender pay gap, which is what you're talking about. Women earn 83 cents for every $1 earned by men.
You're including like part-time and all that.
Well, this is where you're not controlling for anything. So it's all the money that women make, all the money that men make. Okay. But it's not factoring in for the fact that, for example, all men collectively work more hours than women. They're more likely to work overtime. They're more likely to relocate. They're more likely to work hazard pay, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Wait, pull it back up real quick. The controlled gender pay gap. So this measures median salary for men and women with the same job and qualifications.
All men and all women.
All men, well, it's same job, same qualifications.
Okay.
So if you actually control for each of these things and you start removing these variances like hours worked, different job field, different choices, it shrinks down to 99 cents.
It's still below.
Right, but it's still...
You make a penny less than a man? Man, that's rough.
But
let me ask you this, just out of curiosity. I always wondered this question. Even if it were true that men who owned firms of some type or another did hire women at a lesser wage than they hired men, who the fuck cares? Why is that even a problem? If they're just like, I just don't want these fucking women to make as much as the men that I hire, why is that actually a problem?
I mean, it's a moral problem.
What is the moral problem?
I mean, that dude's like a piece of shit.
Why? Why would it make him a piece of shit?
Because he doesn't value women as much as he values men.
He doesn't value their labor as much.
But if it's the same labor,
Even if it's the same labor, he just doesn't value it as much.
well, then I think that says something about how he values women.
Yeah, but how would it actually be immoral? Like, why would it be immoral, for instance, if you owned a business, you said, right? Mm-hmm. Why would it actually be immoral for you to be like, I just don't want to fucking hire men at all. I just don't want to even fucking hire them because I don't like their faces. Why would that even be actually immoral or problematic?
I think it's problematic because you're not considering different perspectives that can contribute to the work that you're doing.
Yeah, but it's yours. Why do you need to consider other perspectives? Like, fuck the other perspective. It's your shit, right? Like, if you found a business, right, and you built it up for 10 years and you're going to start hiring people, and you're like, I don't fucking like women. I just don't like them. I don't like them, so I'm not going to hire any. I was thinking about this, and I was trying to figure out what's actually immoral about that.
I mean, I guess I just think it speaks to like the person's values, essentially, like that they don't.
John Smith donated $200.
Hey, John, thank you, man.
The reason these feminists and angry women are so upset is because they don't have a man to tell them to calm down and relax.
Are you going to do it, John Smith?
Calm down. Calm down. Relax.
Oh, my God.
Relax.
I think I just came.
What the
Oh
fuck?
my god.
But anyway.
What the?
Yeah, so I was just wondering if you could elucidate me why you would actually think that was immoral. I get that you wouldn't
because
like it.
you're saying I don't like women. I don't want like that's such a like I don't think that's like good moral standards to just like it kind of relates to all the shit that we've been talking about with her and how she wants to hurt men and shit, right? Like it doesn't feel so far away from that.
Yeah, I mean maybe not, but let us assume that a man goes, a woman's labor, right? It's worth as much as a man's, insofar as the labor she actually does and the labor he's actually doing is about the same. But they just cause so many fucking problems, right? They cause all sorts of issues. They complain a lot. They're always at the HR department because they got too flirty with a guy at work. They're just a pain in the fucking ass to deal with. They're just a pain in the ass. And if I have an all-male workforce, I don't have to deal with any of those fucking problems.
But you have to
That
deal
seems
with
like
a
it's a
whole slew
really
of other
justified and
problems.
reasoned
But
reason.
are you saying that all women are like that and that women are just causing problems in the workplace? Because I don't think that I've ever been like that in the workplace.
Most women aren't like that.
Okay.
But I'm going to assume that there's enough of them that are, that you're still gambling. And that if it's even 20%, I can understand the rationale and could not say it was immoral for a person to be like, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with all that. I literally just don't want to deal with it.
To not hire them.
Yeah, to just not hire them.
Yeah.
To
Like,
just
if,
be
like
like,
I have my own business. If I mean, I don't plan on hiring anybody. I like just working for myself. But I could see that if someone was like, oh, I just don't want to hire them, I don't think that that's an issue. But if it was like, oh, I'm going to hire them, they're doing the same work, but I'm paying them less because I think that they're doing more complaints. Like, I don't know. I think that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But I just don't think that like all women are just inherently like gonna cause problems or like these complaints.
Totally
That's why I wanted to
completely
make
100%
sure.
agree.
Yeah.
But let's say it's 10%, which is a lot. That's a
Right.
lot. So
Can you
that's
just fire the
that's
one
like,
who is?
That's like 1 in 10 women that you hire. Well, but the problem's already caused, right? The issue's already there. And you're like, in this factory, right, I can have a guy put the fucking hot dogs on the little pallet and then it goes up, or I can have a woman do it. They do it about as fast, they do about as much work, but I never have to deal with the,
Do you think there's a little bit of inherent sexism though in that? Like, I think there's like a little bit of inherent sexism in your words.
My question is not whether or not it's sexist.
Okay.
My question would be, who cares if it is? Why would that be a problem to be sexist under those circumstances?
I just don't
So in
understand
other words, sexism itself, I'm not sure is immoral in and of itself if it's indicating a behavior that you're trying to avoid. So for instance, wouldn't it be sexist?
Then?
Well, I'll explain. Wouldn't it be sexist, for instance, for you at night to walk across the street if a group of men are moving towards you?
Oh my God. Yes, because I would not change what I was doing if I saw a group of women. If I saw a group of men, I would be a million times more likely that I'm going across
So are
the
you
street.
sexist?
I think it's just.
I mean,
Hang on. Are you
I-
sexist?
Well, for my own protection, in that case, I would say yes.
For your own protection, in that case,
Yeah.
yes, I will be sexist. Aren't we saying the exact same thing?
Although mine could be life or death, yours
Hang
is
on.
not a life or death. Are
Wait,
those different?
Or right, it could be the life and death of your business. And yeah, that's basically to the
is your
financial
livelihood, your family,
ruinations, your
right.
life, family, everything else. I agree that maybe the stakes are slightly higher from the physical aspect, but the principle's the same. I'm sexist towards this group because even though most people in this group aren't going to do this, enough of them will that I feel like crossing the street, probably a good idea. And do you think men would blame you for doing that? No. Fuck no. They're like, go across the street. We know that there's predatory men. Fuck yeah.
Right.
So why would men get blamed for not wanting to hire women? That's my thing. That's why I'm like, is it immoral?
I have a question. You said men do you're saying that, what do you say, 10 or 5% of women cause problems in the workplace?
Well,
we're just
assuming it for the sake of the hypothetical.
Would you not say the same thing about men?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. If you
what
have
about the men that can't keep it in their pants at work and
jealousy, competitiveness?
But are you going to have that problem if you have an all-male workforce?
But you're saying
hang on.
But what if it's an all-woman workforce?
Yeah, but if it's an all-woman workforce, then you have catty, backstabbing, fucking all sorts of other issues.
Do you not have
you don't have the my dick is bigger than yours. Like I sell more than you.
Then let's test this. Okay. Do you think that at all female private schools versus all male private schools, there's more complaints from the students who are men or more complaints from the students who are girls?
If
you had to guess.
Probably the girls.
Hang on. Well, wait. Huh? Why do you think that?
I think that girls are also just more vocal about it, though, their complaints.
So then they're going to cause more. So hang on.
Exactly. Men
so
fight
wait a second. So if I have a workforce of men who have complaints but shut their fucking mouths about them versus a workforce of women who have complaints and don't, which one would I want to hire?
But I think the all-women workforce and all-men workforce have equal amount of problems. They're just different.
Yeah, no. If you're saying that one of them's complaining constantly and the other one's not complaining constantly, that's already a huge problem.
I don't think women necessarily complain in the workforce. I think there's some level of professionality that women have when it comes to working, that they're just not going to be sitting there complaining 24/7.
Really? Well, let me ask you a question.
A competent woman, yes.
Let me ask you a question. And give me your honest answer. Okay? Let's assume you had two different offices that you could choose from. One office employed 300 women. The other office employed 299 men and you. Okay, 299 men plus you. Which office would you prefer to work at?
Which one's better? Or are you saying they're equal?
They're equal. They give you the same pay, right?
I don't think it really matters. I mean, at that point, it would be which one I would be happier with.
Which one do you think you'd be happier with?
Depends on who the boss is.
The boss is a man in one.
In both cases?
No, in the other one it's a woman.
I don't really think there's a difference.
No, you wouldn't care?
I wouldn't care at all.
There would be no preference?
I mean, maybe if the male one, because I'd feel like, oh, I'm kind of special, but that's it, because I'm the only woman that was hired. And
you don't think that would have anything to do with the fact that there would be way less catty bullshit, backstabbing, bitching, whining, complaining, telling you all about how such and such is a mean bitch the second she walks out of the room to you, and you have drama clicks all over the place?
I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying, though, is men have equal issues.
No.
Just in different ways.
Here's what happens on
if you're one woman with a bunch of men,
I would feel way more comfortable with a bunch of women. I would feel more connected to them. I would work better. I would be more motivated.
Here's what happens on a construction site, right, or something like this. They're all fucking exhausted from working their asses off, and they don't have time to whine and complain and click and do all that shit. They just don't. Yeah. And inside of office spaces, sales spaces, things like that, there's a bit of that for men. But to say it's anywhere on par like it is for women, you talk to women who are in these sales jobs, and they're like, oh my God, these fucking bitches are awful. They're backstabbers, they're connivers, they click up. If you're not part of the clique, they're just horrible, insufferable.
I think that's putting a very big stigma on women. I don't think, especially in a workforce.
It is putting a very big stigma on, but the question is whether or not the stigma is deserved.
I think no. I think especially that's one thing that I said. I would say I disagree with the podcast, that the women that are selected to usually be on this podcast are somewhat kind of like that and represent a different kind of the more problematic side of women, which I agree a large majority of women can be problematic.
Have you ever talked to a hairstylist before?
I mean, yes.
Well, have they ever told you what it's like to work in the beauty industry?
I got my hair done 3 days ago. She was talking to me about how all the sororities girls come in and they talk shit all on each other, and she just hears it.
All day.
All day.
Every day.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
But that's the thing, is that's why the stigma exists. The stigma exists specifically because of the application. So what I'm saying to you is, if she's willing to cross the street based on her sexism, there's this low percentage of men who are actually predatory. In fact, almost every man you walk by in the middle of the night is not going to do anything to you. Do I blame you for crossing the street, though? Not really. Not really, because I can understand, I can rationalize in my brain why a woman would want to do that. And I'd recommend to my wife to do it. She's walking down the street in the middle of the night under some circumstance, cross the street.
Do you have a wife?
Totally rational. Yes, I have a wife. Totally rational to me, okay? But it's equally rational to me then to say, okay, if I had a firm, right, and there was some inbuilt sexism based around the stigma, would it be rational for me to only want to hire men? I think it's rational to say I only would want to hire men. I don't think it's immoral that a person would move down that that thought pattern of I'll only hire X based on social stigmas, which can cause serious problems to their business for their own protection. That's all I'm saying.
I don't even disagree that the stigma is not partially deserved. It is.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
Like, all of us have gone through high school. You know what girls are like there. It's not like it's partially deserved, but I think it's
that Mean Girls shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with it, but I also think that there's a good majority of girls that aren't like that.
There's plenty of men with the mean girl mentality too. I mean, I work with, I would say, equally men and women, and usually it's the men that are starting the problems. And all the women that I work with have acknowledged this. Like, we're all really, really cool. We have our problems every now and then. But I would say, like, mostly it's the men that are causing problems, and they are just equally as catty. And maybe you're basing this off a standard of men pre-social media, perhaps. But I think with the way that men are socialized today, a lot of them are mean girls.
I think it's also a big thing is that men probably have less problems with men than women have with women, if you get what I mean.
Totally agree.
Like men.
So hang on. So that would be a justification for stigma, though.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but also in a workplace where it's men and women, I feel like there'd be less problems than having a full male staff or a full woman staff.
Well, then answer me this. Do you think that there's less problems socially if you send kids to an all-boys school and an all-girls school than if you put them in a co-ed school?
I think co-ed schools have less problems.
They don't.
I think non-co-ed schools have less problems.
That's also because they're private schools, more funding and more. The public schools tend to
You
be.
have private co-ed schools you can compare it to.
It would be different kinds of
So even if
problems.
It's different kinds of problems.
Okay, let's go through what you think these different problems would be.
I think women tend to, yes, have more catty drama and play more of a mental game with each other, but men are more likely to have physical altercations over
but
something
men like
stupid.
that shit.
Exactly, and women like
it too. I think that's.
I like
I
hearing
agree.
drama.
Girls
Women
like to
it
be
too.
catty. They like the
You're
drama.
What's wrong with
making
that?
every point for me right now.
Well,
I
yeah, 'cause
totally
we're not-
agree. So
we're not
wait,
disagreeing
so
with you,
men enjoy
necessarily.
being violent with each other. Totally agree. Couldn't
There's a
agree
reason
more.
the UFC
Women
is a
like
thing.
being conniving catty bitches with each other. Couldn't agree more.
think that all
I think
women-
catty
don't think
bitches is a little bit of
I
So
think
what's
that's
the
a little
difference?
extra.
I'm not
Hold
sure.
on, hold
Not
on. I want to
sure.
make a point. What's the difference between me being violent towards a man, but men being violent towards each other and making it okay?
They're
do you
both
mean?
bad.
They're okay, fair enough. But why is that? Like, you're saying, like, men just like this shit, like,
it's like-
and you're justifying it.
Because they're
almost
violent by consent.
Yeah, there's a reason that things like the UFC
And as long as they're
exist.
violent by
fighting each other by consent,
it's all
yeah.
good with you, right?
True.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want as long as it's by consent. So anyway, but the point is, though, is that if I'm looking at the standard of understanding why you would want to cross the street, you'd have that innate sexism, which is put in you, that this person potentially could harm me greatly. Then all I'm saying is that I understand why it is that men would have the same exact feeling the opposite. This woman could destroy me. I understand why men would adopt the I don't go around women without another man or another woman present who I trust, or I don't go to private lunches with women unless there's a woman with me, or I don't go around women without my wife. I totally understand that. It makes a lot of sense to me.
it does make more sense to me now. I mean, I guess it was not something I had ever thought of.
Yeah.
But having this conversation, it definitely like is like there's things connecting in my brain that I'm like, ooh, that is really interesting and like not a perspective I've thought of before. I think it makes me.
Once you absent the propaganda and you just have the conversation.
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
interesting how you.
It is interesting. I think as a woman who has broken out of that like catty, like, because I would say like as in high school I would like say that I was one of those mean girls. I was trying to get at the top of this food chain, whatever. And since growing out of that, leading people...
super highly competitive too, right?
Oh, so competitive, guys. Yeah. I don't think I won. But like I went through a lot of growth, especially in my early 20s. I like moved away, and it's like I went on a very like spiritual path of growth out in nature, and like so hearing that like it is disheartening only the fact that like I don't believe that in a workplace I would cause problems. That like let's say that would be like my dream job, but like someone is only going to be hiring men, I'd be like, no, wait, but like I promise I'm not going to like I wish that I would still be able to get that chance to prove myself.
Sure.
100%.
No,
that's the only thing, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I understand, but that would be the same way that the men walking down the street who are just walking over to talk to you.
He's like, I just want to prove to you
that I'm not a horrible
and I, like,
predator.
have my
you got your mace ready, everything else, right? But I was just trying to prove, and you would rather go, I could let you prove it and take the risk.